Hey guys, welcome back. Today I just thought I'd mix things up a little bit. I thought I'd show you my kind of special effects kit, I guess you could call it, and what I use and what I don't really use. And I just thought I'd show you a little bit of my setup as well that I have in here. But to get us started, I'm gonna have to take you off my tripod. Okay guys, so this is my setup. This is my creating table. I've got my mirror, my face cast, some scissors, sculpting tools, Vaseline. I've got flour instead of powder at the moment just because I don't actually have any. But I've got my clean brushes in the white container and my dirty brushes in the purple container. Easiest way to tell them apart. I've got my sculpting board and of course my plates and bowls if I'm doing gelatin latex. So then for my actual filming setup, I've got a tripod and just two umbrella lights. I would prefer them to be separated, but as you can see there's a bed there and I can't get it over the other side. So I'm just working with what I got here, guys. So this is just my makeup setup. So starting at the top, I've pretty much just got my camera box, my lighting box, I've got some polymorph plastic and some plaster. Then here I've got my alcohols, my Prozades, my latex, any removers and stuff like that, as well as some of my pre-made molds and skull wax and other stuff to create more molds, as in the clay. Then I'll take you through these boxes separately, but they are my makeup boxes. And then I have kind of crafting, not crafting either, hard to describe, stuff to remove makeup, stuff to add to makeup, gelatin, stuff to make my special effects gelatin, cups, cotton swabs, and then I've got my silicone for making molds, and I've also got some baldies there that I still haven't played with yet. And we're not going to talk about the bottom one and why there's a kettle here, but the bottom one is pretty much just plaster molds. I've bought some alginate that I haven't played with yet, but that's exciting, and other crafting goods that just don't really have a place. So this is box number one. Guys, $5 from Kmart, the best idea that I've had to sort things out in a very long time. So this is my blood box. So this is my entire blood collection, guys. So I've got the Fleet Street dark drying blood, which I'd have to say is definitely my favourite, but it is quite pricey. Next I've got the Mold Life arterial and aged blood. I like them, probably the aged one, maybe a little bit more. It's got a bit more like a yellowy kind of undertone. As you can see, if I spin it around, it has been used ever so slightly more. And next I've got the Ben Nye stage blood, which is for your mouth. So you can use it in your mouth if you've got a gruesome look that you want to put blood in your mouth but you don't want to use any of the stuff that's not meant to be in there. That is the one for you, and it is mint flavoured as well, so it is quite pleasant. And next I've got the Ben Nye thick and scab blood. These were probably some of the first bloods I ever bought, and I like them, but I never find myself really going to them the most. That is unless I'm doing a look that's kind of like gravel rash and I want kind of thick blood on top of the skin. And I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I find them pretty much the same. Now, what's in the box number two, guys? It is my alcohol palettes box. Yeah, that wasn't very good wording. So I've got tooth enamel and all of my alcohol palettes in there. So these are my alcohol activated palettes. So I've got a decent array of different brands for those. The brands that I have is Scotty's, which is a makeup store in Australia, based out of I think Sydney and Melbourne. Then I've got the PPI's Skin Illustrator. I've got just the plain Skin Illustrator and the Onset Skin Illustrator there, as well as an Onset FX Skin Illustrator. And then I've just got the single colours for the blood tone and the bruise tone, as well as I've got a European Body Art, which was the first alcohol activated palette that I bought. It was a decent bit cheaper than the other ones. Can't exactly remember the price, but alcohol activated palettes are a lot more on the pricier side than, say, water activated palettes and cream face paints and all that, but they do have a really nice finish to them. As well as I've got two tooth enamels from Fleet Street. I've got the black and the rotted colour. As well, I have Scotty's bought out a Tooth Effects palette as well, and that has I think 5 colours in it. Sorry about the state of these, they're a bit messy, guys. I'm not sure of the price of those as well. I think it was a lot more beneficial for me to buy a pallet of that, which is alcohol activated, whereas these come in liquid form already. I can't say I've got faults of either of the products. They do the job. The only benefit I say of the tooth palette is the fact that you can add a lot more alcohol, so it can be a lot kind of thinner layers and not quite as intense colours, whereas the Fleet Street just comes straight up. Okay guys, box number 3. Now this one isn't as exciting as the other one, special effects wise, as it is just plain old makeup and a calculator apparently. Not sure why that's in there. So I'm not going to go through and point out my favourites with this one, really, because it's just an absolute bit of a shit show in all honesty. The only one that I will add from this box, which is technically not even in the box at the moment, is, I'm showing you the Morphe palette at the moment, but more than anything I just mean matte coloured eyeshadows, because there's nothing worse than trying to add shading to a face paint look or anything like that, and you end up putting a goddamn shimmery eyeshadow underneath and it just doesn't look right. It doesn't have to be Morphe, guys, any matte eyeshadows that you can find, but they all are always a lot harder to find than goddamn shimmery eyeshadows. Okay guys, now onto box number 4. Now this is the last of my kind of special effects side of makeup stuff, and it is of course face paints. So this is really where I got started with it all. I think the first look that I ever did was a Corpse Bride look, the Tim Burton movie, and I will put a picture just off to the side here to show you guys how average it really was. But this brand, and oh, that one doesn't have a lid, is Montmartre, I think that's how it's pronounced, face paints, and they are literally just, I think they're $4 each, and I literally just got them from an art supply store, like the $2 kind of stores that you'd have that had art supplies in it. Oh, except for a couple of these because they're the Wolf brand. But all in all, guys, I don't think that you need to spend a lot of money on face paints, especially if you're just using them on yourself. I haven't really found to stain my skin terribly much at all. I can usually get it off with a bit of warm water and soap. But that is all of my special effects boxes. I will grab a couple of other items and then I'll get to talk to you about kind of my favourite ones, the ones that I find work best. Okay, so guys, first off, out of the blood, I'm gonna have to say my Fleet Street is obviously my favourite. However, it is quite pricey for when you think of blood. It does usually last a fair while though. I just bought my second bottle of this the other day, so look out. My favourite thing about it though is it's drying, so if you are going to be wearing it for a long period of time, say for a cosplay or anything like that, you can apply it to your face, it'll set, it won't budge, and you don't have to worry about smearing it everywhere or getting it all over things that you don't want it to be on. As well, when it dries, you can kind of peel it off and it's really satisfying. And with the tooth enamels, I'm going to recommend the Scotty's tooth palette, or just a tooth palette in general, just for the fact that you can layer it differently. Like, you can make it a really dark, decayed colour, or you can make it a really light black. It's up to you guys. I also like to use this on my nails. I will insert a picture here of a gruesome thumb I did, and I used it to make the nails look all decayed and yucky. But let me know in the comments down below if you guys would like to see a more in-depth kind of review, talk through of tooth enamel. Another alcohol activated thing, it is the palettes. This one I have here is the On-Set FX palette, which I really do, oh sorry that is incredibly grubby. I do really like the Skin Illustrator palettes. I just find the coloration of them is a lot nicer. But it's really just personal preference. I do always still use my Scotties and my Encore palette as well. I just find if I'm going for gory kind of details, I seem to always pick up the FX palette more than anything, just because it does come with the real deep dark blood tones. I know with the Encore palette you can select and choose your own what colours you want to have in there. I'll get that out and show you guys, which I say is a massive plus, and it also comes with a nice little palette board so you can mix colours on your own and not get the top all dirty like I do. So this is the one that I bought, and it smells lovely, guys. I don't know what they put in it, but it has a really pleasant, nice smell. So what I mean is, let's just say you've finished with, God, if I can get it out. This colour's empty. It's magnetic, so you can just pop it back in and change the colours as you want. So that's what I've got a spare vein blood tone here that doesn't fit in, but let's just say this C2 colour that I have that I don't really want to use, you can swap and change them, and I think it's $15 or something per little segment, so it's pretty cheap, guys, in the run. And as well, although I don't have them out anymore, the face paints that I have, I do recommend them. They're cheap, they last a while. I've probably had them for a fair few years now. Easy to apply, easy to work with, they're just water activated ones. And for the price that they are, you really can't go wrong. Although they have a pretty big range of colours, but there's some colours that I just like to have. Like I didn't have a really nice kind of plum colour in it, so I got one from Wolf, and as well I got like an electric blue as well that I used for my Mystique look, I'm pretty sure. As well, guys, matte eyeshadows are my other definite yes that you need, a bit of both. If you're starting out, especially with the face painting or just makeup looks in general, it's not really with skull wax and latex as much, because if you use their alcohol activated palettes, they seem to be able to create the nice depth anyway. But I found it really makes a difference with my face painting that I can now shade things and make things pop out a bit more, highlight, low light. Some of my other favourites, guys, as well, if you've got alcohol activated palettes, you're going to need some alcohol, or not any alcohol, 99% alcohol. I bought this on eBay. This was the cheapest option I found. What is this, a litre of it? And I think it was $17, and I think free postage. So it was pretty quick to get here, and this is a lot of 99% alcohol. I think this is made for nail technicians. I'm not sure. As well, you can't go wrong with nose and skull wax, guys. I am in the process of trying to perfect my own recipe for that, so when I do get around to that, I will make a video for you guys and show you how to do it. And as well, with skull wax, spirit gum. Best option if you want to keep it down for a long time, definitely use spirit gum. I just find it's easier than the rest of the adhesives to kind of keep it down, and you can add a little bit as you go. It's just my personal preference, guys. You guys might not like it. Now onto the other colours. And nine ones, so this is the bruise wheel and this is the monster wheel. I do like them. They're a lot easier to blend than kind of watercolours and stuff like that. I'm still playing around with them, bruising especially. I will be putting a video up shortly of just simple bruises and stuff like that. The monster one I do use a lot for highlighting and low lighting kind of in other makeup looks. So I do recommend, out of these two I'd probably go with bruise wheel, just because you can't really get the same effect with water activated palettes. You can with the alcohol activated palettes, but this is definitely the easiest by far. Now with my prosthetics as well, I always go back to gelatin. I haven't really used silicone before, I haven't got around to it. I really want to try it because they look incredible when you get it right. But gelatin seems to work perfectly fine for me. As long as you get a nice thin edge, you will have no problems at all, guys. I will leave a link here to my recipe as well. But gelatin, supermarket, glycerin, supermarket if not, pharmacy. Easy to get your hands on, pretty cheap as well, and they last a long time. And lastly, guys, is one by Scotty's Makeup. It is Studio Brush Sterilizer. You don't realise how dirty your brushes are until you go to clean them. You look at them and you're like, yeah, they're not too bad. Or you go to use them again and you put the wrong colour on your face and you're like, are you kidding me? What did I do to deserve this? This is my saviour. I love it. The only thing that I find it doesn't work as well with is bloods drying on the thing. So usually water, you just let them soak for a little bit with blood ones. But I will put up a brush cleaning tutorial soon for you guys too. I just want to say, guys, that none of this is sponsored. I have bought most of these things on my own. But if anyone does want to sponsor me, guys, hit me up with my email address, which you will find in my About section. That is all for today's video, guys. So I hope you enjoyed kind of looking at my special effects kit, a couple of my favourites. Let me know if you guys have any favourites that were not on this list at all. And I'll see you next video. Bye!